so that you can feel free in your business and that you can actually grow your business. So many people try to grow their business without clearing out space, which is actually impossible. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, and I'd love to hear where you guys are watching from. So put in the comments where you are in the world. I'm in Maine in the United States. So let's see where you guys are. And if you're watching this on a replay, hashtag replay, so that I know that you've been here watching and learning. All right, so let's see. What are the signs in your business that you are not having enough space for what you're actually creating? Because, you know, we're all innovative and creative people, right? We started our businesses not to just do something we learned somewhere like a cookie cutter strategy and then sell it to somebody else. We started our businesses, especially, you know, women entrepreneurs, they're coaching businesses, they're healing businesses, they're spiritual support type of business, something that empowers other people. Why do we do that? We do that so that we can bring through us, right, something amazing and then share it with the world. So if we don't have space, we cannot quite do that. We're actually sabotaging our own ability to bring something amazing to the world. So what are the signs of feeling like there's actually limited space inside your business, that your calendar is filled with something that it probably doesn't need to be, right? So one of the most common components of feeling like there's too many things going on, right? It's the feeling like you think that you should be working harder, that you must be missing something, that you just need to do this or do that. And this is where I see women grab onto something that passes by. Like, oh, one more free gift that will show me how to do this. One more challenge that will help me how to do that. One more thing that will teach me how to do this. And if you're running a business and then you're trying to expand, all those little free things that you take in, even though, of course, they could be beneficial, but if there are few of them, if somebody falls into this, I have to work harder, I have to do more, I have to give more, I have to learn more, I have to study this and study that and make sure I don't miss anything, that very quickly fills your calendar completely, and then there's no room for you left. Okay? Another one is when we follow other people's priorities. This is a very common one I see with women. Instead of choosing something, we end up reacting. Instead of you deciding what you actually want the priority to be and how you want to respond, we end up reacting. Anytime you react, you sabotage your own priorities, and that messes up the whole spaciousness in your life, including your calendar in connection with your business. Okay? Another one is we end up feeling trapped or feeling pressured. So if you're one of those women who is a business owner, who, you know, successful, has some clients, does the work and contributes and has, you know, clients who have results, and then feeling at the same time trapped or pressured, or sometimes there's this feeling of urgency, like I have to do this and I have to do this, that pressure, it feels like a avalanche that's coming down at you. That's a sure sign that you have too many things going on that are not in alignment with you. Our calendar, our structure or schedule of our life is meant to be in alignment with our soul design, with how we're made this lifetime, like how you're supposed to function. When it's not, we feel pressure, we feel trapped. So those are definitely signs to watch out for. Another sign is when you notice that you don't have enough time for your family or for self-care or to meet your own needs, you know, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's traveling, maybe it's even simple like going for a walk, or maybe it's not working before you go to sleep, or not working the very first thing in the morning. Whatever your needs are, when they are not met, that's another sure sign that something is wrong is how you're running your systems, the operations of your business. All right. So now look at your calendar. Like, look at what do you have going on. It might be a literal calendar, or you can think of it like a concept, like what's on your schedule? What's your day-to-day activity that you feel scheduled to do, right? I bet there will be plenty of old priorities that you feel like you have to do, like there's an obligation energy there, but you probably don't have to, but you feel you do. So those occupy the space in your life, right? There's probably plenty of things that feels like you're the only one who can do it. And it could be for your family, it could be for your business, it could be for your marketing, in many different areas, but it is occupying your space. Those things also are obviously in the way of you being in alignment with your business. All right. So how about other people's needs? Do you have that in the calendar? You know, something that is not your own need, but that somebody else needs, and you decided to accommodate that on a regular basis. And then before long, it took over some space inside your life. Another thing I see is the things that we don't put on a calendar, like fears, like worries about the future, or how do I attract more clients? How do I have better clients? How do I generate more income? How do I make my business feel like it actually joyful? How do I reorganize something? How do I have more capacity to create, and so on? How do I unblock my creativity? Worries, worries, worries. Lots of fears, which of course then create babies like procrastination and all sorts of issues that come out of our fears, right? Anxiety. What's next? You know, what's next? And when we kind of agonize over like what's next, all those things, I know that you literally do not write on your day like, okay, today I'm going to have anxiety for an hour. But we do. And when we have those moments of a mild freak out, or it doesn't even have to be feeling like a freak out. It might feel more like a subcurrent of worry. That actually occupies space. It might not be literally on your calendar, but it is in your life. So what we're talking about is how to create space essentially for you in your life. And when you are in the place where there is no space because a lot of it is occupied, that does not allow you to be an innovator, to be somebody who actually brings in this new idea and shares it with the world, which is really why we're here in the first place, right? To support our clients, to help this planet, to help this world to evolve by the fact of us showing up on a different level. And the only way to show up at that level is you have to be recharged, replenished, spacious, joyful, fulfilled to some extent. If you don't come full to something that you are creating, you're not going to be able to create anything. If you don't come aligned and spacious to being able to, create something new, right? Like some new idea that you're bringing through, you cannot bring a new idea through because all the space is already occupied. That's why we're talking about it, because a lot of our organizational skills, and I don't just mean physical organizational, I mean our mind and our emotions, if they are off, then we end up with a lot of things in our schedule, in our calendar, that kind of don't really belong there. And by the fact of us not challenging them, we then feel stuck. I hear this a lot when new clients come to me with this, but I feel like I've been stuck for a while and I'm good at what I do. I know I'm an expert. I know I change people's lives and I just want to create stuff. And for some reason I feel stuck. And it's not that they're actually unable to create. It's literally that they sort of constipated energetically. There's so much going on that there is no room to move. And without movement, nothing new can enter. So that's why we are looking at it. So put in the comments, what your calendar looks like. Like, what do you actually end up with? And it could be literal calendar, like material events that you're doing, or it could be more emotional or mental, like what's occupying your inner space. Is there room in your day for you? Is there room in your week, in your months for you? I would love to hear, like, where are you with that? For the ones of you who are catching me for the first time here, I'm Eugenia Oganova. I am Wealth Energetics Business and Marketing Coach for coaches, healers, holistic health professionals, for women entrepreneurs who are soul aligned, who want to change the world, and who desire to get grounded in their purpose so that they can align their day-to-day operations of their business and their life with their soul design, with something that makes them really unique, and elevate who they are on a whole other level when you're really at that premium higher frequency, so that you can serve your client from the highest possible place while having your spiritual needs met, and at the same time having enough space for self-care so that you and your business fit perfectly, like a perfectly tailored outfit that's made for you, for your needs, and you're actually enjoying running your business. So that's what I do. Now, let's continue with clearing out the space and figuring out what is in the way and what are the symptoms and what are the solutions. Okay? So first let's look at, like we just looked at all the negative components, like how it feels when you don't have enough room, how it feels when something is limited, how it feels when you feel that pressure and tension and worry, and there's not enough emotional space as much as literal space because of other people's priorities and so on. Now, let's look at what happens if this continues, because many times we kind of don't question that. I hear this a lot, like, well, it's okay, I'll just work really hard now, and then somehow in the future it will be okay. Then I'll have all the space. It's like, it does not work like that, because there is no really now and a future. Everything is one consciousness anyway. So whichever way you are broadcasting out your energy into the universe, that's the way you're going to then attract to you whatever that experience is. So if you believe you need to work hard, you're only going to work harder. There's not going to be some magical space on the end, right? I hear this a lot when people say, like, oh, well, I get to, I don't know, certain income level, let's say, or a certain number of clients, then I can relax. It doesn't work. When you get to the next level, there's a next challenge. There's always a next challenge. There is no such thing as when I arrive, then it's okay, because life is a journey. You don't actually arrive somewhere, you sort of move through it. And how you move through it, what your values are, what you're choosing to position first, that's the part that makes all the difference in what kind of experience you're actually having in your life. All right, so let's look at what happens if we continue this sort of stuffed, sort of constipated energetically calendar in our lives, our schedule. Okay, so if we believe we have to work harder, we end up working harder. That means it leads to hardship. We pretty much burn out at some point. If you keep working harder, you're going to burn out. It's a kind of a guaranteed scenario. It also creates hardship in all the areas that you might be trying to create ease. Like, for example, attracting clients, or maybe it attracts difficult clients, somebody that are really hard to work with, or boundaries and so on. Like all the things that we kind of want to keep easy to flow. Instead of the flow, we actually create hardship because we are in the energy of hardship by believing we have to work harder. Okay? Another component is, what are your priorities, right? Are you feeling like a servant of your clients or of your business or of your marketing? Or are you in service? So when we feel like our schedule is too tight, too much is going on, there's no room for you, you are actually being a servant. And that's not a good thing. Because being a servant, it's sort of like a subservient position where something else is in control of you, instead of you being the leader and then leading others in a direction that you meant to actually bring people through. So that is another negative side effect of continuing your schedule in this compressed, pressured, constipated way. Okay? The pressure itself, what happens if you keep feeling that pressure and keep ignoring it? Well, eventually it leads to procrastination, avoidance, So sometimes people don't notice pressure as much, but they definitely notice that they procrastinate and avoid. Those things are side effects of the pressure. Energetics of how it works is that when you feel pressure in you, something wants to rebel against it and push away from it. So then instead of resolving pressure, we're actually trying to avoid dealing with it. And all it does, it creates more pressure, right? So eventual result of that is usually exhaustion. So some of you might be already there when you kind of started loving your business and then you ended up kind of feeling exhausted in it and you're wondering why, if you like it, if you want to help people this specific way and it feels like overall it's the thing you're meant to do. So why are you so tired all the time, even if you don't seem to be doing so much? I know some of you end up with a calendar that's actually not so full. You might like it to be much fuller than what it is, but that's because it's actually, if you're feeling exhausted on the end or tired or procrastinating, that's because that calendar is actually filled with something. That something is worry, anxiety, fear, and other things. So noticing all of that is sort of a first step in changing it, right? Because if you don't know what to change, how do you change it? Okay. Another component is, of course, there's no time for you. That's a pretty obvious side effect of having your schedule full, when there's just no time for you. So that means that you probably end up in burnout because it's not a sustainable strategy for the long term. And a lot of people end up at that point kind of feeling like they want to give up. So we want freedom instead of all of that, right? Now, what do you want freedom for? This is a question that I find a lot of times women do not ask themselves. They just think, I want freedom, I just want to feel free. Well, what does that really mean for you? Freedom means very different things for different people. And you need to know what is in it for you. What's your version of feeling free? Why is this important to you? What would you gain? What would be your experience? Like, if you were free, how would you know you are? Sometimes we think, well, free means I don't have to do anything. Well, usually that also leads to boredom if you're actually a creative person who wants to have a business and wants to have a profitable business. And if there's no creativity or if there's no money coming in, well, then there's worry and other things that seem to occupy the space. And then even though you seem to not be doing anything, you're actually not feeling free. So the key to freedom is actually figuring out what it means for you. What is your version of freedom? And mostly it's about alignment with the values, right? So whatever it is that you truly value, that's kind of the clue as to what your version of freedom will be. So put that in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. What is your version of freedom? What does that mean for you to be free? And as you're doing that, we're going to move to solutions to this issue of calendar being overstuffed with either material events or emotional worries and fears. Okay, so one thing you need to do, number one, is to decide what self-care time you need and then put that on your calendar, non-negotiable. Maybe that means 1 hour every morning before you start anything business-wise. And you don't check your email, you don't check your phone, you don't check your messages before that's over. Maybe it's going for a walk in the middle of the day and it's non-negotiable. Maybe it's ending your workday at a certain time and that's non-negotiable. Maybe it's 1 day a week that you choose to not see clients, not do business, not do anything like that, and that would be your day for self-care. I have some clients that do that. They pick 1 day a week. I have some clients that choose to have specific time of the day every work day. I have some clients who kind of split their week, like these 2 days I work on my business marketing component, and these 2 days I work with my clients, and then the other 3 days are for my family and myself. So you decide whichever way you want to do it, but you need to know what your actual self-care needs are, and then decide what time you're going to give them non-negotiable. Sort of like have your dessert first, give yourself the time first. Just like in business, we want to pay ourselves first before we do all the expenses and pay the taxes and everything else. So pay yourself first. Make sure that you get that space for yourself, because without you having that space, nothing good happens in your business, believe me. Okay, so that's number one. Number 2 is decide that you're going to be of service instead of a servant. That means you have to be clear on what your responsibilities are and what your values are. If we overgive, we're compensating for some insecurity. If we're feeling like we have to give more because we need to rescue somebody, we're compensating for some issue we're having. So you need to sort of clean that up and become aware of what is going on in there if you're feeling like you're working for your business instead of your business working for you. Okay, so that's a number 2 way to clean up space in your calendar, in your life. Number 3 way is to choose to prioritize yourself. Every time we want to add something creative, something new, something innovative, we need to have room for that energy to actually gestate and then be burst out into the world. What I see a lot of creative entrepreneurs do is they have a busy schedule already. They already have all their fears and worries and issues. And then they add on top of it, and now I'm going to create a new project. And now I'm going to innovate and write this book or whatever. There is no room already. So when you're adding this new thing, you're probably going to end up with a writer's block or some creativity block or whatever, and then wonder what's wrong. Actually, nothing is wrong. With the creativity, the only thing that's actually wrong is that you did not clean up the room for that new thing to come in. To do that, you actually have to take something off your calendar. Either decide, I'm choosing not to ever worry about this. That's it, I'm going to trust. So now you just took all this worry off your day. Great, now you can add creative energy in there. Or maybe it's something more literal, like let's say you decided that you're going to outsource a specific task. Instead of sitting there and making your own, images, let's say branded pictures in order to post them, you hire somebody to do it. Instead of doing research of something yourself, you have somebody else do it. Or whatever it is that you feel like will help you prioritize appropriately so that you move something off in order to bring something new in. And one more thing that you can do is decide when you're going to work on your business. We work in our business and we work on our business. In the business, that would be you coaching your clients, teaching your courses, whatever it is you're doing that is your expertise interacting with your clients. That's working in your business. Working on your business, that's your marketing strategy, that's your visibility strategy, that's all the things that we do to collaborate, to create affiliate relationships, to show up in the world, to actually put yourself out into the world, to write your posts, to create your videos, to create your free gifts and products, to make connections. All that stuff, that is working on your business. And a lot of times what I see in women that come to work with me is that they work in their business, but they don't have any room planned to work on their business. So then the business is not growing and they're wondering what's wrong. And it's like, well, because this, and this is not being done. And they kind of like didn't think that that's actually a separate thing. They're trying to add it on top of their regular work day, and it creates a lot of pressure and eventually exhaustion. So you want to be really conscious when you are working in your business and when you are working on your business. And separate the two so that they are not mixed in your mind, because if they are, you're going to blend them together and then you're going to run way over time, whatever you plan to do. So make sure that you separate that consciously. And it could be literally, 2 hours, let's say every morning I spend on working on my business. Then I see clients. Or 1 hour in the morning I spend on me and self-care. Then I don't know, on certain days work on my business, and on other days I work with my clients. So whatever your natural way is, tune in and look for what would work for you. But those components that I just named, like deciding your self-care time and scheduling that, deciding to be of service instead of a servant, so shifting your priorities and values there, choosing to prioritize yourself so that you remove something in order to bring something, and the last one, to consciously put time on your calendar when you're going to work on your business. Those are 4 pretty easy things that you can do in order to help yourself to actually move things into alignment with what you're meant to do and give yourself space. So all of this must be in alignment with your soul design, with your needs, with who you are and what you're meant to do. When it's not in alignment, that's where all those distortions and hardships happen. So your system is designed to work specific way. And when your business is not matching that, that's when all those difficulties happen in your calendar. All right. So this is what I do. I guide people through this process of going from the unclear, frustrated, pressured, and exhausted into an experience of freedom and feeling like when your business and marketing have this space in them that matches you. So there's a ease in retention of clients, there's ease in attraction of money, and there's space for your self-care. All right. So for the ones of you who are realizing as I'm talking about it, that this is sort of your story here and that you are ready to help your business and you fit together perfectly. Like you want to figure out how is it that you are made and what needs to be tweaked in your business to make them work together perfectly. So they fit like this perfectly tailored for you outfit, instead of this clunky thing you might be wearing right now that feels hard. Then put the word simple in the comments, or you can message me directly and I will reach out with details as how we can connect so I can look at your specific situation, your business, and help you figure out like what we can do with that, how we can help you align to the natural way, the natural design. So if you're ready to sort of understand how your system works and what your actual needs are, most of the time people really don't know what their needs are. They think they know, but they don't know. So really deeply understand what your needs are, including spiritual needs, and how to design your entire business and your entire marketing strategy to meet those needs, then definitely, put the word simple in the comments or message me so we can connect. And I can help you find that specific way that you are meant to run your business. So there you are. You have yourself a wonderful day, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.